Welcome, it's Recreate Plays, the channel. Cooldown Room's the show. Pit Crew is the crew. Welcome to our weekly hangout with my boys, Chris, Mike, Vinyl, and myself, Michael. Japanese Grand Prix. Oh, hey, y'all. What'd you guys think?
Snooze fest.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this exciting, but it was not. It was not.
The race wasn't exciting, but it was still tense. And, it was still tense. It was still close. But it was also interesting in a way, like why it wasn't exciting. So, that's a talking point in itself.
I think we'll get into that because it's a race that we all were looking forward to, given it's one of our favorite tracks. It's a dynamic track. There's so many beautiful turns on it. It's great to race on in a sim, but on the day it wasn't that exciting. Why so, Mike?
Has the cars outgrown the circuit? Has the narrow Suzuka circuit with its lovely mix of bends and corners, it's just not wide enough, and without the heavy braking zones to support modern Formula One? So become the Albert Park of the East.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, you do need those heavy braking zones because most of the overtaking seems to be done in those kind of, scenarios now. Whereas the flowing tracks, you just can't get it done now.
Yeah.
There's not enough water.
Yeah. I think to add to that, also, the conditions were just against them. Like, it was all against, not against the drivers, but against making it, for the teams to be able to progress on strategy, like when they resurfaced the first sector, so there was no tire deg. Plus, it was really cold and cool and damp without being wet. Like, it was like the worst conditions for strategy. So there was no tire degradation, so there was no pit stops. It was just really boring. Like there was nothing the teams could do to outsmart the other teams because everyone was just doing the same thing to get the fastest, and get through it the fastest.
Yeah. I think only Lewis went against the grain as he normally does in terms of strat, right?
Yeah.
He started on the hard, everyone else went medium, but even then he didn't really pay off, obviously, but everyone else played the same strat. It was pretty uninteresting from that perspective.
Yeah, I think the exciting part was when McLaren tried to dummy Red Bull and coming to the pits with Lando.
Saw it a mile away, McLaren.
Almost got him. Almost.
When Lando thought, well, I'm just going to drive on the grass and see if I can get past Max in the pit lane on the grass. Maybe that'll be faster.
He was playing a crazy game. I don't know. It's like playing a dangerous game.
Yeah, I think from there, I thought the race is over. They know they're not going to they can't get past on track. They're willing to risk the floor, damage the floor, and go crazy, go off the road to try and pass him. Then it's over. No one's getting past anyone.
I mean, is it too early to bring up the talking point of lap 43, 10 laps to go, and could have Piastri had to go? Did he have the tyre condition to launch the attack on Max and then and go for the win?
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest. I think McLaren made the right call. And I think Piastri made the right call. I think it was all pretty classy. He was doing what he should do and say, well, give me a shot and say I'm faster. And he might have been faster than Lando, but there's no way he would have the delta on Max. I was saying it's like a second. You got to be a second quicker a lap to get past here. So I'm pretty sure he was never that quick. Not to mention it's Max, and Max is going to, most guys, it's one thing getting to them, another thing getting past. For Max, well, he's going to force you off the track twice. Even if you're faster, they're going to investigate. It takes 10 laps to pass Max. Max was never going to give it up. So I think McLaren made the right call. They were like, man, we're in second and third.
Just bring it home.
Oscar, you're not that quick. Oscar was just doing what he should do and throw it out there.
Politicking for
exactly.
For a promotion.
Stir the pot. Yeah. Stir the pot. Why not? Nothing to lose for him.
Speaking of Max, let's talk about Max, man. What a weekend for the man. All the talk all week has been about McLaren and how dominant they've been, and they've won both of the first races. But he reminded everybody who he is on this day in a car that no one else has been able to drive.
Yeah,
sensational Max, sensational quali, perfect qualification lap.
Absolutely, he was genuinely ecstatic with his lap, and he should be, because it was an amazing lap. He pulled it out of the Max book of tricks that only he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys saw there was a Alonso reaction. Someone had a camera in the Aston Martin
I've
pit
seen the
crew when
link, but I haven't clicked on it. Yeah, yeah,
Max
I've
was
seen
doing his
that.
lap. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Like they were all just like
Respect,
gobsmacked.
huh?
And Fernando was just like, wow. He was just so happy. Like he was actually beaming because
Really?
he was just excited. Like because he knew he'd seen something great. But he was just like, yeah,
Mm,
no one else. He said it. No one else can do it. And
mm.
he's, a lot of people would say he's the best, if not up there, certainly in that bracket. But he was like, no one else can do what he does.
In
So
his
yeah,
first pole in how long? In like almost a year or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of no one else can do it, Yuki on his debut for the big boy team
Mm-hmm.
had a bit of a tough weekend. He struggled in the practices, did okay in P2 if I recall, but overall a rough weekend. Although comparatively to Liam Lawson, still some progress, but he looked more comfortable across the weekend, I have to say, but still a tough weekend for
Yeah, I thought he
Yuki.
did well. I thought he did well.
Yeah.
His only mistake was his Q2 lap. Like he looked pretty strong all weekend. He was a
Mm,
tenth off max in FP1. He gave like good like feedback, on the team radio when they're talking to him. He was like,
sure.
"Yeah, pretty good sesh, guys. Yeah, there's a few things to talk about with the setup, but he sounded really confident.
He looked confident and comfortable.
Um,
The result
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
he did.
he
there,
certainly wasn't overawed, and it was
but
like a nightmare situation at home. Like it
yeah,
was all the pressure. The whole
yeah.
world was on his shoulders. He looked really calm and collected. I thought it's just a shame he didn't get it right in Q2 because I
Mm.
thought he looked pretty good all weekend, and then he held station like everyone else in the race, which is still pretty good in such a pointy car, right? It's not an easy
Mm.
car to drive.
Yeah, and I think that like the Racing Bulls had a bit of their Italian moment with strategy with Lawson by putting him onto soft tires way before the end. I don't know what their their, their go was there. So yeah, the delta just increased throughout the race. Like Lawson had a terrible second half of the race,
Mm.
and just he was next to Yuki in the first part, but then yeah couldn't recover from the. He was obviously a bit slower, but the strategy as well didn't work for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I
it did
agree. I
say,
mean, he did pass Yuki. I think he passed him on track on like 6 or something. But
and then Yuki passed him back, didn't he? And
yeah, the
then in the
strategy
end,
was they were just throwing the home area, I guess, going for glory.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like they'd have to do something special to catch up with Hadjar. Hadjar was way up the
Well,
road.
exactly, man. He finished eighth. Like that's the thing. That's the thing. They were like they're
Yeah.
always the alternate strategy team, right? Racing Bulls, Toro Rosso.
Mm,
They're always like we're just roll the dice because we can. So
mm.
if you're second in the team, then yeah, you're the guy that's going to get the weird strategy just because maybe it might work. So you got
Mm.
to,
Maybe because Hadjar's cojones were well strapped up with the
yeah,
seatbelt
yeah,
buckle, and they
yeah.
were he was in a
That was
perilous position.
crazy. That
Mm.
was crazy to hear. Like I was like surprised he wasn't like black and white flagged or whatever. I'm surprised they don't just say stop the car right now. The FIA. That's like so unsafe. If you crash now, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
clearly, nothing's saving you. I can't believe it was. I mean, it was great, interesting to see, but I'm really
Sorry,
surprised
guys.
I didn't.
Explain the situation. Mike made a bit of an obscure reference. Explain the situation for the people
It
listening.
was,
What happened?
So yeah,
go,
during was it free practice, Chris? Or was
yeah,
it
yeah,
qualifying?
yeah,
And free
three,
practice
three, I
and
think.
qualifying.
Oh,
He had
and,
an issue with
no, because he was in quali, but he said it's the same thing, guys. I can't believe it.
mm.
Like, so they hadn't fixed it from FP3, I think.
So what happened?
Yeah,
Explain.
so,
Explain it.
So his
so
seatbelt wasn't
I
working.
Yeah.
yeah, seatbelt.
Yeah, so you could see him like on the straight. He was like one hand off the wheel, like trying to grab it and like pull it down, but like he wasn't like buckled in completely,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was
And was
like
it because his hand
distressed.
was it because his hand kept on hitting the buckle like while he was
Yeah, yeah,
applying lock or
yeah.
something on the steering wheel?
Yeah, I don't know the details, but he was clearly heaps distressed. You know what I mean? And credit to him for flat to the floor. He didn't give up. And he was like, come on, guys. Like, it's like, Kimmy, you won't have the drink. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. Like, it's a seatbelt.
And
I'm
apparently they had to
risking my
strap
life
him in
here.
uncomfortably tight. Like they had to put his belts on massively tight, causing real pain to get them to avoid to get around the problem.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy, right?
yeah.
He's doing
Crazy.
well though for the team. I mean, he's impressed. Of all the rookies, he's doing very well. Other than Kimmy, I
And
haven't.
Behrman's doing well.
Yeah, Behrman's doing well. The rookies are coming on pretty well, but Isaac Hadjar, Who knows? Next in the Red Bull big boy seat at this rate.
Well, yeah. I mean, he knows it, right? He knows he'll be thinking, I'm next in line. So keep the foot to the floor, boy. You might just get there. You never know.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good battle though. Like once Lawson gets back acquainted with the team and the car, gets settled, gets his head in the game, like he really did grind out some results previously against Yuki. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't count Lawson out of it, even though Hadjar is obviously more settled into that team right now.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I think Lawson just needs to, and don't forget, he's been in different cars last few weekends. Like that must be crazy. He must have had the craziest couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I think it
this
was,
race was always going to be tough for him.
yeah. I think it was a validating weekend, if not, but also some relief on Lawson. He looked more at ease, but also a little bit, see, I told you guys this car was a motherfucker to drive and only, Max can do it due
Yeah,
to Yuki's
yeah,
struggles, and a little bit, validated that, like, it's not me. I am a talented driver. I outqualified Yuki. I think
yeah,
everything is in its place, though. Do you know what I mean? I think the right drivers are in their right seats for now with regards to the Red
yeah.
Bull team.
I would agree with that. Yeah, yeah,
And so he looked more comfortable in that second team. Like there seemed to be just, a lack of tension in his demeanor. What would you
yeah.
say about that?
I
Talking about
totally agree.
tension in their demeanor. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I totally agree. I don't think he's super talent that's going to come out of nowhere, and
Mm,
I think he's good. I think he deserves his seat, but it's going to take time. Like he's not going to, yeah. So I'm glad has a seat, and I'm glad he's got time now because two
yeah,
races, not
no,
we
no.
all know that.
And even last year, he's basically a rookie this year. Come to think of it, do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's a
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a he's a sophomore at best. But yeah, Mikey, you were saying?
Is it okay to pivot to other stress, such as Lewis Hamilton on the radio to his team?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to Ferrari, and then we'll come back to these other teams. Okay, Ferrari.
Yeah, like Hamilton had no answers on the radio. He was
Mhm.
asking where he's slower. He's quite terse when told which turns and how slow, and I don't know. He seemed all at sea during the race. He had no answers to
Yeah,
Antonelli.
Yeah, well, I think there's a reason why that all that stress was in his voice. It wasn't necessarily because he was seventh. It's because of who was in front of him. I think that
mm,
was really bothering him. It's because Kimmy was in front of him, the little kid that got his seat. He was like, "Man, this can't be happening." I think he was, yeah, not happy, and yeah, yeah, I think he was really struggling, and I think it also says a lot about how good Leclerc is, right? Like,
we all
you know,
thought Leclerc would outdo Hamilton this year, but I think Hamilton, yeah, he doesn't look comfortable with this car or this team, and we're seeing this sort of. He's not gelling with the team at all. I think there was a culture in place at Mercedes. He's been there for so long, the way things worked, and we're seeing this conflict, right?
well, I don't
I
think it's a
mean,
surprise to anyone. I don't
they
know.
they really.
I always think,
I I think with Mercedes, there were often occasions where the culture sort of, coalesced around him and
Yeah,
accommodated
yeah,
him, right?
exactly. I would agree. I would absolutely agree.
And even on radios, they were like many times just accommodating him. And this is
Yeah.
it's not giving him the same kind of
For,
feeling, I think.
yeah, well,
because
Ferrari
we
will
don't
never do
like
that.
Ferrari team.
Ferrari is
It's the
Ferrari.
water. The water.
Ferrari's bigger than any driver.
That's
They're
right.
like,
It's a
mate,
Ferrari.
we are F1.
Mm,
So yeah, they're not gonna pander to him or do any of that stuff. I mean, they're like, mate, Charles is up the road. Go
mm.
get him. Go get him. It's up to you. I don't know. Yeah,
It's
I think it's another reason why I don't like putting drivers in order and saying this guy's better than this guy. You sort of got to put them in brackets and say
Yeah,
these guys,
right. Yeah.
because
On any given
Lewis is
day, there's a
Lewis is a
machine.
great driver, but I think Charles is a great driver too, and he's proving it, right? Like they're both great drivers, and it's
Yeah,
all about time and place and where you are and when you got the fastest car.
exactly. And youth will be
You know,
served. It's very few occasions or examples in F1 where the older lion has really
yeah,
outdone the young one in F1,
yeah,
to be honest.
mm,
true. And Lewis has done that
And
already,
he has done that many times. He's
Yeah,
been the
yeah.
young buck that is,
And the old lion against the
hmm
young buck, right? And shown his qualities.
and goes qualities.
Uh,
Yeah. Mike? Vinyl, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I suppose while you're having that conversation, I was thinking of like the other young buck and experienced, but not too experienced, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. Like Russell is in great form, and
He
Russell is
is.
driving really cleanly, and he's driving really sharp, and he looks like a team leader. But Mercedes going to put the contract in front of him to sign for something long term to show that he's the future, or that they're still holding out for the Max Verstappen and the Wonder Kid to get disgruntled with Red Bull and make a big move somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I
good
think
question. I mean,
so far, George has shown himself to be a very capable number one driver. He's probably been one of the drivers of the season so far, I think. He's outdriven that
yeah.
Merc. They're coming second now, I think, in the constructors. Nobody expected that. Kimi is very capable, but clearly not ready to be a number one. But there's only one Max Verstappen, and most teams can probably only afford one $40 million contract. If you do get a Max, you got to take him, I think. That's just my 2 cents. As good as George Russell is, if you've only got 50 million, say, to spare on your drivers, you got to get Max. As good as George is, he's still not the best. What do you think, Chris?
There's no question any team on the grid would get Max. If Max would go there, it doesn't matter. You'd beg, if you had 50 mil, you'd beg and borrow another 50 mil if Max would come. That's my feeling. But
George Russell would step aside
Max
and go, fair
Max
enough.
isn't going. I don't think Max is going to Merc. Like I think Max is gonna be competitive this year just because of his skill, and then I think probably 27 he'll be at Aston because he's won everything with Newey and he's won everything with Honda, and that's Newey and Honda will be at Aston.
A big call.
And have had a year to get their shit together. So if he's going anywhere, he's going to Aston, I think, Max.
Yeah. Let's stick with Mercedes and that topic of Russell and Antonelli. Any more to say on that, guys? Mercedes, the quiet achievers I've got here as a talking point.
Yeah, they're just the sleepers. No one's talking about them, but they're getting the points. And if it gets spicy and, Lando and Max take themselves out, then Oscar and, both Mercs might be on the podium. They're doing all the right things, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're getting a maximum pace out of their car. They're consistent. Amazing, I think, from Antonelli. He's only, he only finished a second and a half behind George. So yeah, they're doing all the right things, I think.
Yeah, like I'm still surprised when I see Russell so high up in qualifying. I'm always like, oh shit, George Russell. What's he?
Yeah.
Like he's very close. He's very close. But so
Yeah.
I think that they're looking solid for the year.
Yeah. All right, let's get to McLaren, guys. The Papaya squad. Are they just taking points off each other? I've got written here. What do we think? This is the last time we had a big McLaren battle, it was Alonso Hamilton, and Kimi came up down the middle after those two took points of each other. What is happening with these two lads? Let me frame so you guys have something to talk about. Should McLaren favour one or the other to give themselves a better shot at the Drivers' Championship? Mike, Vinyl, kick us off.
No, I don't think so. I think it's McLaren. I think that they're pretty the team culture is not that ruthless.
Zach isn't that ruthless?
Put one in front of the other until it's really sorry?
Zach isn't that ruthless? Zach is a good dad?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like is he a big teddy bear? I don't know.
Kind of is. If you said you have to survive. But go on, yeah.
I mean, what's happening now is they're in the first round of a boxing match, right? And they're just feeling each other out and trying to get that one up on each other. And they're just, it's not getting serious yet. It's not that part of the point of the season where they got the gloves off, but they're trying to see each other's weaknesses and trying to get that step ahead and that finger ahead and try and pull away. But they're still neck and neck, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lando is first at 62, Max is second, 61, Oscar, 49. Just inevitably at some point, they're going to clash, come together, potentially take points away from each other, and take away the potential of one of them maximizing his earning potential. Chris, what do you reckon? Should they favor one and just go for the drivers? Even at this early stage, or let them.
I would say I agree with everything Mike said, except in a way a little bit opposite. Like when you say like McLaren's not ruthless enough to have team orders, I agree they're not ruthless enough, but I think it's because they want to be 1-2. Like I think they're thinking we should be first and second. And let them race and let's go first. Like when Merc were dominating, you know what I mean? They're like, no, they can race. You're free to race. And I like that. Like, I really like that. I don't want to see team orders in the second, third race of a season. Like, what's the point? Like, it takes, So I think they're doing the right thing. They're saying, let them race. You can race. Obviously, the team makes the call at the end of the day, moment to moment, right? Where they might say pole position because the risks, they're obviously strategizing and they got to weigh up the risks and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think they're doing the right thing. I think they still think they got the best car. They still think they're going to win both. So they're like, why would we tamper with it? Like, and it's just going to cause so many problems. Like, I think with the Oscar thing, imagine if they did say to Lando, let Oscar pass. Like, he would have been, why? I'm ahead of the championship. I'm faster.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just managing my tire. You know what I mean? It just would have created a whole thing. You know
Pandora's
what I mean?
box they can't close.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, just let him go. Like, clearly no one could get past anyone. I'm sure they were really happy about that, about Suzuka. McLaren were like, sweet.
They're like two fighting siblings. Sometimes it's better to let them sort it out than to intervene.
Yeah, Mike, and then it's so early, like I said.
Yeah, Mike,
so early in the season.
Sorry, Chris, let's move on for that. Mike, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how the season develops with a different driving style, the way they handle the car. And I suppose some circuits will suit one and some circuits will suit others. And some circuits, they'll be very, very close to each other. So, I'm keen to see how this pans out. And can Oscar learn all the things from Lando that he needs to learn to adapt his driving style to become more of a rounded driver and really take the challenge to Lando in all areas, not just speed.
Yeah.
And then there's Max, of course.
And there's Max.
Who would you favor, guys? This question was asked to did you see the episode of Drive to Survive? I think it's episode 7, Wheel of Fortune on McLaren. And all the team principals were asked, who would you choose as a number one? And, Toto, I think another said Lando, but Horner said Oscar. Who would you guys favor as your number one? All other things given equal. Mike, Varnell?
I would say
who has more potential
between the two McLaren drivers?
Yeah.
I'd say Oscar because he's just got more resolve in wheel-to-wheel combat. If you're fighting for a championship and you need to, outplay Max or someone else of that caliber of gamesmanship, I think you need Oscar on the track next to him.
Interesting. Maybe he just doesn't have the seniority within the team and the sport yet to sort of command that. But Chris, what do you reckon?
I think Oscar's got more potential. Like
really?
He's just younger. He's already there. He's already right there with Lando, and he's just started. So I think he's got more potential. But again, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't favour one.
The only way
just fun shop talk. That's all I wanted to bring up.
Yeah. I mean, even Horner, the only way they'd impose team orders if you're headed in the championship, and the team's under threat to lose the championship. I think that's the only way you get to impose team orders.
How are you, Mike? Who do you put in?
Oscar. Yeah. I think Oscar's he's so well-rounded and so calm under pressure. He's almost inhuman. Do you know what I mean? It's almost, is this a freaking 22-year-old or what? This guy is just unreal. He never gets frazzled. He never gets cranky, upset on the radio. He's different. You know what I mean? I think he can be special, really special, if he can harness the things that you're talking about, Varnell.
Yeah. I would like to see them both in V10s, like V10 era F1 cars, Lando versus Piastri, and just see who's got more balls to the wall in those cars.
Yeah. I second that. Love to see it.
I'm a Lando fan though. I really like Lando. I do though.
I like him too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him at all. I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And super quick.
Yeah. But we got to back our boy.
Our boy Doohan. Or no?
Yeah, let's get to our next
don't-
guy, our next boy, Doohan. Didn't have a mixed
DRS
weekend.
Doohan.
Had a bit of a mixed weekend. Let's go through it, Vinyl. What happened on Saturday?
So in the sim, he decided that you could go through turn one flat with the DRS open. He tried it
Right?
in real life, and real life is not a sim. It doesn't work.
I've realized that. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't just click the reset button and go back to the middle of the track. You end up
Damn.
trashing your car and it was a big hit.
That was a
In many
big
other
hit.
eras of motorsport, he
50
would
Yeah,
plus
be
man.
streams.
in a hospital
Oh, that was a
and not
horrible
coming back
crash.
for weeks. It was a
Yeah,
big hit.
it was. It was. Chris?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a mistake. Yeah, he made a bad mistake.
Was he
But
injured from that, or as a consequence from
yeah,
that?
he was. He was. Well, I don't know if you guys saw him trying to get out of the car. He couldn't get out of the car because his left arm was like ruined. Like he couldn't move his left arm. So they, the way they get out, they got to put both their arms up and then get
Yeah,
up here
yeah.
and lift themselves out. But his left arm
Right.
wouldn't work. So Ocon and his mechanic dragged him out, like because he couldn't. He was like trapped. He couldn't get out.
Yeah, right.
So I think he was pretty badly injured. And I think it may be his last race. He might get one more, but he might be injured. They might say his left arm ain't good now, so he can't race in Bahrain. So it's a triple header, right? So it could very well be his last race. And if it is, I think at least big ups to him for, showing some grit and determination and guts and getting through the race. Like if he was, if his left arm was that bad, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say he's being treated by an Argentinian doctor?
Yeah, well,
He's
yeah.
wearing a Colapinto jersey.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, shame. I think shame for him. He didn't have a bad race. I think like he was at the back, obviously,
Yeah,
but
he's only a couple of places behind Gasly, I think, in the end.
yeah, he passed. I mean, there were only 15 or 12 overtakes in the race, and he made past 4 himself. So yeah, and like you said, only ended up a few places behind Gasly. And they actually swapped them at some point because they were on different strats,
Different
obviously.
strategies,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, shame. He made a big bad error, and he
Yeah.
couldn't recover from it. But it's shit if that's because of an injury. That's not good. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's quick enough anyway. Just as a byline, yeah, I don't think he's quite there. Unfortunately,
Yeah. I'd like to have seen him with a slower team or slower team than Alpine, but a less profile team with less pressure. I feel like he has the potential, but just needs a little bit more seasoning. Maybe not.
Well, I think it was pretty hard
tough.
when. Yeah, I think it was pretty
And this
hard
rookie
when
class is crazy.
Briatore came in and was just like, yeah, it's all about results. Franco's freaking great. I love Franco.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll give the Aussie a few races. He was a bit like a Lawson, like a bit like a dead man walking. It wasn't going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be
It's a
tough for
team
him to
boss.
keep that seat. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So what else have we got to talk about from Japan, or should we look forward to the next one?
I think we look forward to the next one. When is the next one?
This
It's
week
a
we've got a
triple
triple
header.
header, man.
Triple header.
Get
Oh,
your
shit.
sleep.
Bahrain and the Kingdom of Saud in like 2 weeks.
We're going to the Middle East, baby.
Oh, shit. Which one's first? Saudi?
No, Bahrain. Bahrain's next.
Yeah, get your Emirates Etihad tickets, baby. We're going. No, we're not. We're not. We're staying in Sydney, guys. But we'd like to be there in
Sponsor us,
spirit.
anyone.
Yeah, anyone. Give us some tickets. Etihad, Emirates, we'll be willing. So, what's to look forward to in the Middle East, guys? This is the first of the 2 Middle East stops, of course. And we come back at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't know, it'll be interesting because McLaren has traditionally like been crap there, but I think the only reason they've been crap is because at the start of the year normally, and they've started the season with a lemon and then developed it over the year. But now they've actually got a good car to start the season. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Can Charles Leclerc win a race? Can you win in the Middle East? Is that too much of an ask?
Yeah, well, be nice. He had a great battle with Max, right? Remember that year when
Oh,
they were
yeah. That was a great World Tour stuff.
trading
Yeah.
places?
Trading DRS zones and faking them out. Yeah, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Was that 22? I think, yeah, maybe a couple of years back. I can't remember exactly, but that was great.
23, I think, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see. Interesting to see how Yuki's going to go. Obviously, still all eyes on him. I feel like the jury's out. It was it's a bit of a stalemate. It was sort of, it was good but not great. So
do you think he's got the seat until the end, or is he under of the season, or is he under pressure? Is he on a hot seat
He's got
himself?
the seat. He's got the seat.
Unless
Chris?
he's smashing the car, unless he's
Oh, of course, yeah. Unless he takes a
destroying the
turn
car
in the
every
seat
weekend.
and doesn't clean up after himself.
As he
But
becomes OG Tsunoda.
Yeah, I mean, if they got to rebuild the car in 3 weekends in a row, he might be on shaky ground all of a sudden.
then Isaac gets the call. But yeah, other than that, do you think he's got the seat? If he performs as is expected, maintains.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
I do too.
But I mean, I hope he gets points. I hope he improves. The whole thing is they're talking about we need 2 drivers to score points. He was close in a pretty ordinary weekend, so I hope he's getting points. That's what he's obviously his goal.
Yeah, definitely.
And giving good feedback and all that. That was all their criticism of him for a while. So I think he's concentrating on giving good feedback,
good communications, calm radio messages. He's come a long way, a young Yuki.
Yeah,
I know. Let me do it.
Well, I didn't know that was offensive in your language.
Yeah. What? Isn't everyone a motherfucker?
Mike, we're going to get demonetized now, okay?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, what else? Any other topics, guys? You want to get off your chest? Any other things?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to, is Carlos going to get it together in the Williams?
Dude, yeah, let's talk about
Finding
Carlos and
speed.
Albon, yeah? Let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, I
Vinyl,
just
what's
want Carlos
happening?
to not be confused. I want him to be fighty rather than confused.
Confused Carlos versus fighting Carlos, yeah.
Yeah.
What has happened to him? He's had mojo wherever he's gone, and this season, what's happening, Mike? Vinyl?
So Williams said that he's learned a very specific driving style for the Ferrari. Sounds like Ricciardo trying to drive a McLaren,
which is what he must have done for the.
required.
Yeah, he must have done that for the McLaren as well, right?
Yep, exactly.
McLaren was specific when he drove it.
So yeah, I think it's just the older drivers like Ricciardo syndrome, just having the trouble adapting their driving style once they're set in their ways.
Yeah.
Gosh, goes to show how much muscle memory goes into it. You know what I mean? You think you can change from direct corners to smooth corners and vice versa easily, but it must be so difficult,
Yeah, it's not even a regulation change either. It's the same regulations for the cars, but
they're just dealing with such small margins.
Small margins,
It's hard to comprehend how close the field is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of very close margins, surprising results, Stroll outdoing the OG Lion himself. What is happening there? Has Stroll come of age or what?
No, Stroll's gone back to where he should be, which is a lap down and last.
No, not the last race, but overall he's outperformed Alonso.
Yeah.
Overall he's outperformed Alonso in qualies so far.
Yeah.
Has Alonso just simply hit that point?
I don't know. I think Alonso might realise that maybe.
Look, I don't want a feel-good story involving Lance Stroll as much as the next person, okay?
Yeah. No, I think Fernando's probably realised he's run out of time and he's not going to get that car under him. He was a couple of years late for Adrian and Honda to get into Aston, and and I think he's actually just really enjoying himself, to be honest, and giving it all. It's still a crap car. The Aston's shit this year, but I think he's really just going to enjoy this year and get the most out of it for himself.
I reckon Daddy Stroll had like a parent-teacher interview with like Adrian Newey, and then Lance was invited afterwards to pull up his socks, and I think he was just trying to maybe have a few flourishes to impress the new employee, Adrian Newey.
Yeah, could be true.
True. Okay, guys, shall we call it there? Anything else?
I think that's it. Just looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the race. Hopefully, we'll do a watch along. We'll keep you guys tuned. But thanks for joining us again for the Cooldown Room. Adios.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Kimmy, you missed the presentation. Can you get over it?
I was having a shit.
Okay, thanks for that.